These are picking up everything.
I think that's microphones in general.
Jesus. Oh, that door needs to be closed.
All right.
Opened.
No, I can't. Okay, that's fine. All right.
Let's keep on rolling, baby. You know what time it is.
Keep on rolling, baby.
You're recording, so whenever you want to do the intro,
Oh, okay.
so just do your cut take, and then we'll.
All right, here we go. All right, welcome to Amateur Audiophile. I'm
Welcome.
Justin.
I'm Neil.
How you doing today?
Good, yourself?
Doing well, doing well. So today, joining us, we have Mr. Chris.
Hey, everybody.
We want to welcome Chris to the show. Finally, putting him on the microphone. He will not be on camera, but he is on the mic. He's going to be running the board for us. And so what we're going to do today is we are going to review some Facebook Marketplace finds that Neil located for us. And we're going to talk about some options of things that we have here locally to us used that we could build a killer system with. So
Just kind of trying to go back to one of our first episodes where we introduced, the first system we found. So that's what we kind of decided to do that, to kind of show and see if you really look what kind of stuff you could find and what kind of systems you could get going.
yeah, definitely. So Chris, you want to bring one of those up for us?
Sure. The first one that we're looking at is a JBL Studio in Northridge home theater speakers and subwoofer.
Oh,
Excellent
wow.
condition.
Let's bring that up on screen. Whoa. Okay. JBL Studio. Let's see. I need to move the flowers here so I can see.
I feel like JBL as a brand name doesn't need an introduction. I mean, everybody knows the quality that JBL stands behind. So, I mean, I know all, like, their Bluetooth speakers, for example, their headphones, they're all great, and all that goes in with their home audio equipment. They got some very, very high-end audio speakers that I know of that
Yeah.
you can spend some serious money on. So, this whole setup right here,
What all does this include?
it includes the whole set, to my understanding, right? It's got
Oh, wow.
all
And they're
speakers, got
real
the
wood?
subwoofer, their actual Baltic birch, I think is what it says in the ad.
Dang.
So I mean, for $600, I mean, as we're flicking through some of these pictures here, you can see, I mean, prestigiously maintained, powered
Definitely.
subwoofer. I mean, this got everything you need to get your base setup,
Wow,
basic
okay.
setup started.
Dang. This is the full 5.1 system. How much is that new?
Oh man, I have no idea. I didn't actually do like full retail search on these, but I mean, just looking at the quality of the speakers, I'd had to guess for that whole setup, if you bought that new, stabbing in the dark, I'd say at least $2,500 to $3,000 for that set of speakers.
Wow, that's a heck of a deal there. They've already got it marked down, which is crazy.
And that's just because people don't look on Facebook Marketplace for these things like they used to. So
Yeah, that's kind of wild to me that people don't. I mean, I've found so much stuff. I don't remember the last time I bought anything new, to be honest with you. I get everything off of Marketplace. I mean, unless it's Dayton Audio, shout out. Always buy that stuff new just because it's the prices are so good on it. So it's $600, which I'm sure he's already come down on the price. So let's be honest, you're going to be able to get that a little bit cheaper. And he's, I don't know, like an hour from us. And so we could probably talk him into coming down like another $100 if we drove down to him. And so you're getting the left, the right, the two rears, the center, and a subwoofer. And it's real. Is it real birch on there?
I don't know if the whole cabinets are made out of real birch, but it's at least a birch veneer on there to give it that birch look.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the cabinets, they normally do like the veneer type style to get the look versus making the full cabinet out of the birch. But
yeah,
they look gorgeous. I mean,
I like the the color on the cones kind of looks like Klipsch a little bit. Those look good. Yeah, I'd run with that system, especially for 600 bucks.
100%. It's great
So.
introductory. Get you anything you needed.
Hey Chris, how about we don't show all my personal messages on the podcast?
It's an admin group. It keeps popping back up. I didn't open it. Yeah.
That's why I had to put my phone on airplane mode.
It keeps coming back up. I'm not doing this. I promise.
It's the dating group that I run on Facebook.
Do you want to know what the next message says?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll show you later.
We'll revisit that on the next podcast when I'm actually dealing with that stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. All right, what we got next?
Thing.
So there you go, guys. I mean, as you can see, you've got plenty of options. I mean, there's a ton of stuff out there for sale. Used for really good. I mean, it's stereo equipment that's in people's houses. You know, it's not stuff that's getting beat up and abused all the time. Like, it's just sitting there in somebody's house, probably getting dusted, especially stuff higher end like that. All right, Pioneer stereo receiver, Elite Series, $150. They've already marked it down from $225. You could get that thing for $100.
Hands down. It's a 7.2 channel setup.
Oh, I thought it was stereo.
No.
Oh,
no.
dang. Is it just keep blowing up, Chris?
Yes, it does.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. It's fine. It's fine. Just throw it up there.
I mean, they're talking about baby mamas.
Of course they are. It's a dating group. That's all that's left now.
So, I mean, you can tell by the fact that the sticker is still on the front. This person took immaculate care on it. And, I mean, you got all the information you need there. So, you see it's 150 watts.
Class D, 7.2. Where's this at? Do we need to go buy this?
This is in Roswell.
$100, $150.
That's around the corner from us.
Dude, that is a deal. Somebody watching this, look this up. We're going to try to post this quickly. So if this stuff is still available, somebody go buy this. And if you do, please send me a message.
You know, and you can see it's already new enough to where it's got all HDMI inputs on the top. So now you can basically use that to control all your devices, have all your DVD player.
Dude, that thing had to be $1,000 new. $600, $700, $800 minimum.
Probably.
This sort of thing right now that we're doing would be great live.
Yeah, it really would, to be honest with you.
Because you could be like, hey, people, go buy this.
Yeah. Throw it up there live. You just got to click a button, right?
Holding a beer.
Yeah.
No, this is I love that infinite screen there. So no, I mean, dude, okay, so the speakers that we just looked at.
Right.
5.1 setup.
$600.
$600. You can probably get it for less.
Say $5. I mean, we'll go with the posting. Let's
go with the posting.
Price,
yeah.
Right. So you got $600 for the JBL speakers, and you got $125 for that receiver.
It was $750.
So that's for a full 5.1 surround sound system.
And the receiver will take 7 channels.
7
so you
channels.
can buy 2 more rears.
7.2 at that, right? So you can actually run two subwoofers,
left and right, or front and rear.
Right. So you could do 2 subwoofers off of it, get yourself 2 height speakers, or do your wides essentially if you wanted to.
Yeah, if you can't find matching speakers, I'd say probably instead of going 7, do a 5.2.2 on that one, and get you some Dayton Audio bookshelf speakers.
That's what I would do regardless. I would do a 5.2.2.
Yeah.
If I'm limited to 7 speakers, I would rather have 2 Atmos speakers up above me.
Yeah.
And get the Atmos capability versus having 7 bed layers.
Yeah, because you're going to get more of that full enveloping sound anyways.
And as long as your space is not too big.
Yeah.
You don't need those
especially if you're not in like a real long room front to back. It's probably going to be better to go heights anyways.
Yep.
So, no, dude, I mean, $750 just right there, right off the bat. Good job, Neil. Like, first 2 thrown together a full system. And
what more you need.
Even if you don't have a TV, man, like, you can probably find a decent 50-inch HD or 4K TV for $500 or $600 used now.
I mean, let's face it, most people already have a TV that they can use.
Yeah.
Now. You know, you don't have to. We all have a TV somewhere or others.
That audiophile sound.
Yep, do that again once it goes live.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're say you're a dude that's recently divorced and you're having to start over. That's throwing a $500 used TV on top of that, and you're good to go, man.
I mean, you can go to Walmart right now and buy like the cheaper like on brand TVs or something like that, and you can get. I think the last time I was there, I think they had a 55-inch for like $300.
Seriously?
Yeah.
4K?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's
Dude,
like the
that's
cheaper
nuts.
brand.
Yeah, like a Hisense or something.
Basically, yeah.
Or Ion, was it?
The On
On
brand is like the Walmart house brand or whatever.
We've got one of those in the camper. They're not bad at all.
Which is still there, still Roku TV,
Yeah.
right? So their internet,
Yep,
you
they're
got all the
smart TVs.
apps and everything. So I mean, what more you need to get started with?
Yeah, no, we have one in the camper, and we can hotspot from our cell phone and watch TV.
Yep.
It's
Absolutely.
yeah, it's kind of crazy what we got. What you working on, Chris?
Getting the live set up.
Oh, so we are going to go live. Hey, taking the ride along with us as we go live for the first time.
We're not there yet, but
We're not there yet, but we're getting there. So
You want to queue us up a next item though? See what else we got on the hot sheet.
I can't. You guys just gotta keep talking.
yeah, we just got to keep rolling, baby. Let's talk about specs, baby.
Well, so here's something interesting.
Let's talk about A and V.
This is just an article I saw the other day. There's a brand called Trinov, which is for most people don't know this brand. I'd assume it's not a very known name brand in the basic consumer industry because their stuff is like top notch, high end of as high as it gets.
Yeah.
So if you want to reach for the sky and drive out to the space, Trinov will get you there. And
speaking of which, what would a speaker sound like in space?
I don't think
you wouldn't hear it at all, would you?
that's an interesting question.
That's a great question.
I don't know.
If there's no gravity, do sound waves travel? Is there sound? Can nobody hear you in space? Isn't that the thing?
Now I feel like the sound waves still have to travel. They just don't bounce off of anything.
Yeah, but if there's no air to move, what is it moving? There's no air in space.
So how do astronauts communicate with each other while they're out in space?
They have oxygen inside their suit, so there's air to move. But if the speaker is out in space, there's no air to move. And that's how sound works. It's moving air, right?
Yeah, but don't all like satellites as they're moving through space beep?
What, do you think you hear it from here?
I don't know.
What do they be? You've been watching too many movies, man.
Don't they all beep?
Oh, beep. When have you heard a satellite beep, bro?
I've never been close enough to a satellite to hear the beep.
I don't know where you're getting that.
It's like those space movies. They have like a beacon, like the little beacons that floating through space.
Really?
Some sound engineer in Hollywood threw a beep on top of a light flash in a movie, and it just stuck. And now Neil thinks that all the satellites just beep.
It changed his perception of reality.
I could be completely wrong. I don't know. But you mentioned going to space with a speaker. It's I don't think you'd hear anything.
I feel like we need to reach out to the Fast and Furious.
I'm sure Ludacris knows. Hey, Luda, could you hear your music in the car when you were floating around in space?
I mean, he would know, right?
I guess if there's oxygen inside the vehicle, you would be able to, but if you put the speaker outside.
I don't know.
Chris, call Elon and ask him.
Yeah, because I got his fucking number.
You don't have no speed dial?
This is a family-friendly show, Chris. This is Amateur Audiophile.
Hang on, what?
Can't take him anywhere.
Sorry,
man.
because I got his number.
There you go.
Better?
That was much better. Oh, man. Can you go to camera 4 while you're working on that? There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. And that way when we clip everything down, we can...
So anyway, like I was saying, I sent you the article. You remember the article I sent you?
Yeah.
So apparently Trinov, they're trying to reinvent the wheel and are trying to redesign how to place subwoofers in a room to where every seat in the entire room has the same experience with bass.
Yeah, they're waveform. Is that what they called it?
They're calling it a waveform is what they're calling it, yeah. So they set up a demo, and this I think the demo was set up over in Germany.
Yeah.
And they were using 48 speakers, which 24 out of those 48 speakers were subwoofers.
Yeah. Half of them.
20.
And it's basically just like a whole wall of subwoofers, right? Just all the way across the front.
Yeah, so to my understanding is that there's spacing in between the subwoofers, which eliminates the need to also have like bass absorption, because the space in between the subwoofers will absorb that wave coming from the other side. So you kind of like off-centered stagger them from each other. It's trippy. So
I mean, I've always wondered that, like, for years, is like, if you just covered every wall in a theater with speakers and you just put like less power to each speaker and just spread the sound out, would it sound better?
Yeah, I don't think so, because there's a lot more to it.
Because the processing for
and so that's what Trinoff is really known for, their receivers. I don't know. Have you ever looked up a Trinoff receiver?
Yeah, you sent me that video and it went way over my head.
I know, but like the actual receiver, like, have you ever looked up how much a Trinoff receiver costs?
No, I didn't look up the cost.
So there's one of their receivers, which is probably one of their more popular ones, but I want to say it's got like 32 channels or something like that, so you can run 32 speakers off of this.
That's wild.
And it's like, I think the last time I checked, and it's been a while, so don't hold me accountable to the price, but it was like $35,000.
Just for the receiver?
Just for the receiver. And that is a receiver that is non-amplified.
So it's just the signal processor.
It is just a signal processor. All it does.
That's crazy.
But you can map, out of those 32 channels, you can map any channel to be whatever you want it to be. So if you want every single one of those channels to be subwoofers, you could do it. Well, I don't know why you would, but you could.
But like, what are you playing off of that? Because if the sound was not engineered for that many channels, like, how is it, from your media, how is it processing that if that's not how it was tuned in the studio?
Because the current aspect of it is not necessarily processed for like a quantity of speakers.
Yeah.
Right.
So was it to have like 4 outputs for your front left, what would typically be your front left, and then it breaks it up into those 4 quadrants, like just using 4 as an easy number.
Think of a room, think of a spatial area, right?
Yeah.
So think about the aspect of the sound. You got it centered, you got a room, and you want the sound to be in the front of the room or the back of the room or the side or the top, right?
Yeah.
So normally you would have, your 7 bed layers and your 4 heights, whatever. And with that, it tries to essentially mimic a movement from front to back, left to right, or what have you. So what's super cool with the Trinoff, and I've seen some demos of this, is you can hook up a monitor to the receiver.
Yeah.
And it'll show you where the sound is supposed to be in relationship to the room.
Kind of like this.
Basically. So now you could make a ball bounce in the room, and you could see on the receiver where the ball is bouncing, and you could close your eyes and probably say the ball is bouncing right there, and it'll pinpoint to that accuracy, because it's got so many speakers to really make the sound move through the room.
So you're not going to hear it just, okay, it's kind of left. Like, you can say like it's left, but like 2 or 3 feet in from the corner.
No, I mean, you from what I've heard and what I've seen is you'll be able to tell where the ball is bouncing in the room.
So like even in front, like between you and where the sound is coming from, you would be like, okay, it's halfway between me and the corner, not it's coming from the corner.
Correct.
That's nuts.
That's what $35,000 gets you.
I mean, that's the goal, right? It's like, and that's something that I've always thought about is like, when you have your surround sound set up is, okay, so like on the screen, you've got something coming from your front left. The sound is coming from your front left. But the distance of where it's coming from, and it just sounds like it's coming from that front corner. But on screen, it's actually like kind of just in front of you to the left, you know what I'm saying? Like where it would typically be like halfway between you and the speaker. It doesn't sound like it's coming towards you.
Right.
Like in most home theaters, you can hear the sound go around you, but you can't hear it come at you, if that makes sense.
Right. The turn off system.
So with this, you
the
can.
sound come at you.
That's crazy.
As long as you got everything set up correctly.
Yeah.
Got the right amount of speakers.
Oh, I know there's a ton of tuning. That other video that I sent you where the guy was trying to do it himself.
Yeah, he was trying to set the waveform thing up himself. Like,
Yeah.
trying to do it with what he already had, though, too. So,
Yeah.
you know, so he had.
That's what was nuts. He was like, yeah, I just finished this room 6 months ago, and now I'm about to tear everything apart again. I'm like, what?
Had some of my subwoofers, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He had 18s.
JTRs?
Yeah. Jeez.
If you ever get a chance, look up some JTR subs.
Somebody hire us that's got a ton of money to come build one of these systems, because we can't afford to do it ourselves. But I'd love to build one for you.
Oh, we can build one.
We will build something. All right. I think we're live, aren't we, Chris? Are we live?
Yes, you are live.
Did you check the audio on the live?
No, but I can right now.
You should probably do that.
Probably, yeah.
Check all the settings and make sure. Yeah, I can tell we're live now because we're getting a little lag on the camera there. How do I sound? I know it's going to be a ton of delay. We sound crispy. Always sound crispy. All right, let's go back to the marketplace finds and see what we got.
Yeah.
So those, anybody that's just joining us, we started off. We'll do a quick recap. Can you pull the JBLs back up real quick?
Let's just start from here.
We'll start from here so we don't open my inbox again. So to start off, we found a full set of JBL speakers, a 5.1 system, for $600. It had the 5 speakers and a subwoofer. And then the second find that Neil located for us is a Pioneer 7.2 Elite receiver for $150.
Tell us why that's a steal.
Neil.
It's a steal because this will get you started in the system and get you started in the hobby. I want to call it a hobby because that's how I treat it, but this is where I started. When I first got my first system, I started with a basic receiver like this and a basic.
This is not a basic receiver though.
I mean, at this point, it's kind of in the lower bottom, I guess, as I'd call it now. But,
I mean, that's going to get you a really good sounding system.
But you won't be able to beat that with any kind of sound speaker from Walmart or from like a sound bar.
Yeah. Even if a sound bar with a subwoofer, any kind of system in a box where the speakers and the receiver and everything come together are not going to come close to just this setup here.
But you're going to spend the same amount of money.
Exactly. That's a crazy thing.
So,
but I mean, this stuff was triple these prices when it was new.
Yes.
And like especially stuff like this where it's like Pioneer and JBL and Marantz and Denon places, Yamaha, companies like that. You are going to have equipment that's going to last forever. I mean, those Polk speakers that we have out here in the meeting area, those Polk tower speakers, Lord, I've had those things for 10 years and they still look brand new and they still sound actually, they sound better than when they were new because once they get broken in, they start sounding even better.
Yeah, which that's a relatively short time frame. I mean, you can. There is a break-in period between speakers, and not everybody knows that necessarily, but yes, you do want to break in a speaker before you blast them full out. It's kind of like a new car, right? You don't want to like take a brand new car that's never been driven at all and just rev it out to the maximum.
I don't know.
You got to warm it up a little.
I don't know, man. I've been told drive it like you're always going to drive it.
Yeah.
Give her the Italian tune-up from day one.
So talk about a motorcycle then.
I'd definitely do it with a motorcycle.
Tried to take a Ducati, brand new.
I did.
0 miles.
I popped a wheelie going out of the dealership.
Yeah, but could you rev it up all the way?
No, the computer wouldn't let me.
Exactly. Point made. They got that shit locked down.
I think that's, man, what is it with y'all? This is a family-friendly show.
They got that beep locked down.
Chris, you're slacking. We're going to have to put a 3-second delay on everything so you can start beeping everybody out. I think that's for their insurance. So you don't wreck it the first 500 miles you have because you're not used to the power yet.
Has nothing to do with insurance. Has to do with the braking period.
Yeah. I know. No, definitely for speakers, you want to break that in. I mean, you've got moving parts and stuff, and a lot of it's rubber and metal and plastic and all that stuff. And then those rubber moving pieces you want to get moved in. You don't want them cracking and yeah.
100%.
So, all right, Chris, let's move on to the next item on the list. What time is it? This day has gone by really fast. 5:30. Whoa. Did those come that color?
Yeah, white, pearl
Yeah.
white.
R500 tower speakers. Those look expensive.
They look very expensive.
They do.
They're not actually that expensive, but
They look fancy.
they do look very nice.
Yeah,
And,
speaking of Polk, $325. What is that on the back?
that's the port, isn't it?
It's hard to tell from that picture.
Prices per.
Prices per speaker.
Who
But-
sells one speaker?
Well, I mean, he's trying to sell it as a pair, but he's trying to say it's priced.
Excellent
each.
condition, will ship in original box. Prices per. If wanting to buy a pair, I can lower the price. That's a weird listing.
It's got some fancy work
It's a
set up.
turbine cone woofer with
Yeah.
high-res audio certification.
Export technology.
Cool.
So yeah, that definitely was the port on the backside.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you got to keep in mind when you look at those type of speakers,
Chris,
it
can you pull
is-
up that full picture? Can you click on the picture and pull up the whole thing?
No, that's as
Big as it'll go on the
I can
desktop.
zoom in
Okay.
maybe. Hang on.
so the
Oh, there you go.
backside
Go to the next picture with that turbine on the back.
with that turbine,
Let's check that thing
there
out.
you go.
It looks like a boat propeller.
It looks pretty cool, but
So it's just a port for your.
it is the port. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have the port on the front. It's got the port on the back, and it's an opinionated of what's better. But so essentially, when you have the port facing towards the back, now you get the reflection of the wall,
Off the wall. Yeah.
and that enhances essentially the bass for
Yeah, especially if you put them in the corner.
So the key to that is you can't butt those speakers up straight to the wall.
No, you can't. You got to leave space.
You got to leave some space in between,
Yeah.
and so that'd be something that you have to, I guess, consider when you buy those type of speakers, because if you're going to shove them all the way up against the wall,
Yeah.
they're not going to sound ideal.
Yeah,
what you want.
I never like to push mine against the wall. Anyways, I like them to be about even with or in front of where the TV is. So basically, keep everything. I like to keep everything in the same angle. So if my TV's straight in front at say 10 feet, I want the speaker to also be at 10 feet. So if you're going out in a radius, that's going to bring it in from the wall the further you go out. And I like to put them as wide. I like a wide sound stage. So I like to step them out and then tow them in.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, especially if you've got a rear port like that, I think that'd sound really good. Especially if you got that port facing right at the corner, it's going to reflect off both walls and sound pretty good.
It's going to give you a little bit more low end.
Yeah, no, that's a sweet looking speaker. I don't like the way he has it listed though. I would never buy one tower speaker. It's just weird.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I've never done that though.
I mean, if you're replacing one or something, but then what's he going to do with the other single?
I mean, you go to the store, they sell them individually. They're priced per.
That's when they're new. I mean,
But yeah, they're still priced per.
yeah, I guess
Because-
so. If you wanted to go front center,
That's what I was about to say. Talk about matching
Yeah.
your front stage. You want front, center, and left all to be the same, right? So only three
Yeah.
of the same speaker.
yeah, if you got a acoustically transparent projection screen,
Well, I mean,
I would
even-
prefer to have 3 matching towers.
Even if you had 3 towers and just put your TV up a little higher.
Yeah. What we got here? Oh, some Klipsch towers. R24F tower speakers. Still have the original boxes. Man, everybody keeps their boxes. That's awesome.
That's
And I'm
blurry pictures, but okay.
yeah. Somebody took these with a potato carpet and the brown walls. There's a lot of brown in that room. Sorry, Sorry, Billy. Don't mean to roast your room. Dude, look at those old speakers.
I bet you those old speakers sound pretty good.
I
then.
bet you they do. We had some, my dad had some of those in his shop. I don't know what brand those are, but they're, that style that were old. Oh, yeah, this guy's got vinyl. Yeah, he's got, nope, there it is. See it?
Mhm.
There's his receiver.
Yeah, he's got an old receiver up
Yeah,
there.
he does. This
Oh.
dude likes his music.
Old receiver like that will give you some warm, soft sounds.
See, I would love to hear that thing. Okay, so is this a good deal? $350 for the pair?
I mean, $350 for some Klipsch tower speakers.
I don't know if that's
Somewhere
a
where you're
great of a deal.
I mean, you ain't gonna beat it nowhere.
I mean, it's about half of what they were new, maybe.
I think they're what, $500 a piece if you go to Best Buy.
Yeah, probably a little less than that now. Or the R24. Those are kind of old models. Do they even sell them anymore?
I mean, they probably don't sell them anymore, but
Yeah.
let's see what retail is. We can check. We got the internet at our fingertips.
RF24, is that what they? Or R24F?
Klipsch R24F, you said?
Yeah. Figure you could probably get a pair for $600 or $700. My thing is with used stuff, if it's not half price or under, it's not a good deal. So, especially if I got to go pick it up.
Well, it's hard to find them new, but I found an ad on eBay for $600 for a pair.
New?
No, used.
Used? Is that what they actually sold for, or just what they're listed for?
All right. So looking at all this, right, with me as a person who doesn't know anything about this, but would like to have movies that sound nice and music that turn on and sound nice. I'm not going to be able to go on here and find this stuff and know what the hell I'm looking for, right? So
with the power of Google.
How would you build? Well, yes, but I'm not that interested.
Yeah.
So how would you go about building a system for me that would make really good quality sound, but like for under $500 on Facebook Marketplace?
For under $500 for everything?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you go back to the first two items that we found, $750, you got a full system.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have a hell of a system. Like with those JBL speakers and that Pioneer Elite receiver, $750. And then you can, and it depends on, are you talking about you want it for like a home theater or just for 2-channel, like stereo? Like you want music or movies, or do you want both?
No, I think you want movies is what he was talking
Probably
about.
both. Yeah, probably both.
Then a 5-channel system like what we were looking at. So you start kind of piecemealing everything together. Like the Polk speakers that we were just looking at. You'll have to find those. Then you'll probably have to find a center channel separate, and then you'll have to find your 2 rears separate. Then you'll have to find a subwoofer separate.
But I don't think that answers his question. His question was how would he put that together as somebody that's not interested and doesn't know anything about it?
Well, that's kind of where I was going.
And I guess
look for a speaker system like the first one that we found that's like a Klipsch system or a Polk system that comes with all 5 speakers plus a subwoofer,
right.
and then find you a decent receiver.
I had a better answer though.
Well, go ahead.
Your answer is you got to listen to us and listen to our advice.
That's what I'm trying to give.
Yeah, tell me the advice. That's why I asked the question,
Keep listening
Neil.
to Amateur Audiophile, and we will teach you.
Eventually, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if it's your first system ever and you just want something that sounds pretty decent, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we've been saying from day one is 5 channels and get 5 speakers that kind of match. And just like we showed you with the JBLs, you can find a decent system of a higher mid-range used system that all the speakers match, and then get you a good receiver. Pioneer, Sony, Yamaha, Onkyo, Denon, any of those, you can't really go wrong.
100%.
And at this point, if it has HDMI, you're pretty much good to go.
HDMI will carry all your high definition audio and everything. So when you have to worry about it, keeps your wires clean because you have less wires now too.
Yeah.
Made a huge difference.
So look for a name brand, HDMI, and then 5 matching speakers. If you don't know anything. And for $500 to $800, you can have a really good sounding system. It's going to sound a lot better than your sound bar that you got for Christmas from your mom.
No, a million times better.
So, what's our next item, Christopher?
I know we found some more goodies on there.
From the load, here we go.
Oh.
So this was something that I put on there just because I personally was actually interested in this.
I remember this one. You said this one too.
So
you were like, talk me out of buying this.
I didn't talk you out of buying it.
No, you were telling me to talk you out of buying it. You're like, I need to get this.
So this is something that really takes you up to the next level. So if you got the introductory stuff right, you got your base level speakers, you got your receiver. This would take you up to the next step, essentially, right? So now you're getting into what they call separates. So you got the processor that goes to an amplifier, that then the amplifier goes to the speaker.
Yeah, so basically your receiver that we've been talking about and looking at, it is your sound processor and your amplifier built in to one. The The upside to that is it's simple. Everything's built into one unit. The downside to that is they're typically going to not be as powerful as an external amplifier. So the next step up from that to get the full potential out of your speakers, because a lot of times you're going to be kind of underpowering your speakers a little bit. You can get an external amplifier like this and stack it on top. You can still use your receiver that you've got as the processor to process all the signals and the sound.
And you can also still use your receiver that you got as an amplifier. So the Adcom that we're just looking at here was a 5-channel receiver.
Yep.
So me personally, I'm running 9 channels at my house plus 3 subwoofers, right? So I only want to amplify my main bed level speakers. I don't need that much power going to my highs or anything like that. So the receiver has plenty of power to do that.
To do your surrounds.
But when we talk about the power of your receiver, once you distribute that out between 9 speakers, each speaker does not get as much power as it could potentially use. And what you're really hurting is your dynamic range on the speaker. Not that it wouldn't be able to get loud with the receiver itself, but the difference is that when it does get loud, it having that higher dynamic range and having that extra power and being able to drive the speakers with less effort, it's better for the speakers, it's better for the receiver, and it sounds cleaner and softer and more pleasant, really. Like, to me, there's a big difference between you can have a loudspeaker that plays at a crazy high volume, but hurts your ears when you're listening to it. Like, it's just, you sit there and listen to it for 15, 20 minutes, and you feel exhausted.
Yeah, you're having to run it at 80 because of the lack of power, and then you put it on the proper amplifier and you can run it at 50 and get the same peak volume basically, but it's not stressing everything out as much.
Right, so you don't feel exhausted. Like, you can listen to it loud, and you can listen to it loud for an extended period of time and not hurt your ears.
Yeah, it's not going to distort. It's better for the overall sound quality.
So that was just kind of a find out they're in there because
pull that back up, Chris, when we look at the spec.
So this one's a little bit older.
But it's just an amplifier. So I mean, all you're really doing is amplifying the signal.
Right.
So it's gonna work. What were the inputs on that?
So it's got your regular RCA inputs, right? So that would be one thing that some of your newer amplifiers, they're gonna have XLR inputs.
Yep.
Versus just the RCA inputs, but a lot of your receivers don't have XLR outputs unless you go with something that's like really, really high end.
Yeah.
So this right here for most people will get you plenty. Now, the crazy part on this one, when you look at your specs, it's THX certified, and you got 130 watts per channel
at 8 ohms,
or you got 200 watts at 4 ohms. Now, when we talk about a receiver, a lot of people don't even know this. When they rate a receiver and they say this receiver is rated at 130 watts per channel, that's at 2 channels driven. They always are rated at 2 channels driven. So now, even though it says 130 watts per channel, and then it says you got 9 channels, well, that 130 watts per channel, take that times 2, so 260. Now 260 watts is being divided by 8 speakers, essentially.
Yeah.
So getting the amplifier, that now this one actually will run 200 watts per speakers at 5 channels driven.
Yep.
So you really have, essentially 1,000 watts on that amplifier.
Yeah, you're getting all the power out of it.
So, you think of a decent floor speaker like the Polk Audios that we keep talking about, or you're talking about the Martin Logans that you got. They're rated at 180 watts per speaker.
No, the Marantz receiver was 180. I think the Martin Logans will take a little more than that one.
A little bit more than that. Yeah. So, you want to kind of try to match it as close as possible to get that extra power, and you will just get more dynamic range, especially when you're talking about your lows.
Yeah. Because
the lows takes a lot of power out of the system, doesn't necessarily give you more volume. It just uses a lot of power to get the lows down to the bottom.
Yep. Yeah.
So that was kind of a.
Yeah, you can not crank the volume up as high and get the same power out of there. And I mean, 200 watts per channel in a home audio setup that's moving. That's a lot of power there. I mean, that's enough to run a subwoofer. It's actually more than a lot of self-powered subwoofers right there. And a subwoofer is typically going to run at 4 ohms, and a lot of your regular speakers are going to run at 8 ohms.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
some are 6.
so you think at 8 ohms though, you run 130 watts per channel on that. That still will give you for most speakers, like even me personally, I got some nice Bowers and Wilkins speakers at home, but that amplifier would run those Bowers and Wilkins great.
Oh yeah, definitely. What's the next one, Chris?
Well, that'll get us monetized right there.
Hey,
That's
yeah.
a very recognizable sound.
Oh yeah, no, I only did one chord. Word. Oh, focal.
Now here we're kind of jumping it up a little bit again. I just kind of want to show the different steps of quality you can get when you really dig in. Now, Focal again is a brand that probably a lot of people don't know about. And one of the things that I really like about the Focal brand is they're actually handmade in I think it's Italy or France, one of the two countries.
Oh, go back to that. Go back one, Chris. Go back to the label on the back and zoom in. Yeah, zoom in there. See where made and where.
France.
Yeah, so they're handmade in France.
Nice.
But they're actually handmade one by one. And those speakers, I mean, for that price that they got it listed for $600. The last time I checked into some Focal speakers, they were like $1,200-$1,500 a piece for the lowest ones that they have, and then they go up to like the $10,000 and $20,000 per speaker.
That's wild. Those things are beautiful, man, and they're in really good shape. I like that piano black.
Now those would be some fantastic speakers to set up for like some stereo listening.
Yeah.
Like just some 2-channel. You just got just those two.
Yeah.
No subwoofer.
Pair those with that amplifier we were just looking at.
That'd be good for movies.
That'd be great for movies.
That'd be great for everything.
Yeah, anything you want to do.
Those are unstoppable. I don't know why anybody would want to get rid of those.
He probably bought some of those. What were the $75,000 speakers that were?
Oh, the ones that are like CNC'd out of aluminum.
Yeah. Crap! I had a total brain fart. I forgot the name of them. We talked about it on the first episode.
I remember talking.
That everybody
about
got so mad about.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Who's gonna spend that much money on speakers and not treat the room? It's like that was my point. That was the point we were making. Oh man, did we have anything else to look at?
Yeah, one more.
One more. Bless you, sir. Bless you, sir.
Jeez, man.
Jeez, it is that time of year. The neighbor's cutting grass. I think that's stirring everything up for us.
Ugh. Okay.
What we got on the Facebooks? Do we have any comments on the live? Is anybody watching, or is it just us?
I can't look right now.
Okay. I can. Well, you got this pulled up. Read this. $2,500. What we got here?
So this one kind of came a little bit near and dear to my own heart because I do have some of the Bowers and Wilkins set up myself. So these right here are your little bit more introductory Bowers and Wilkins speakers, but for what they got it listed for, I mean, they got it listed for $2,500. Now we are stepping up quite a bit in price, but we're also stepping up seriously in quality. And it looks like we got the full setup here, right? We got the Sunfire receiver, 200 watts per channel. Now again, two channels driven, but so you got the Bowers and Wilkins tower speakers, you got the rears, the center, and the subwoofer. So this is like a one-stop shop for somebody. I can't even imagine why somebody want to get rid of this, but that Sunfire receiver, that's baller too. That's
oh man, look at that cone.
So one of the things that, like when you see these, Bowers and Wilkins has been very known for this, for putting that tweeter on top like that.
Oh,
so what that does is it separates the tweeter from the rest of the cabin, and isolates that sound.
It isolates that high
better
sound.
vocals. So that's one thing that they do for those. But I love the Bowers and Wilkins stuff. Like I said, that's what I use at home.
That was like the first high-end system that I got to listen to. So my uncle is kind of the one that got me into like the higher end stuff. You know, once I got out of, you know, when I first started this, it was there wasn't as much information on the internet. It was, right as YouTube was like coming out. So like none of this information was really out there. And so everything that I got was just whatever you could buy at a yard sale, the pawn shop, whatever. And so he had a set of Bowers and Wilkins, and he was, I say was, like he's dead. He's still with us. He's given me several speakers over the years. He's always been with Bowers and Wilkins. That's like all he's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the first like high end system that I got to hear was his. And it's kind of funny because like now I can teach him about room treatments, because he was one of those that had the high end speakers and everything, and never really did anything with the room. He just
Right.
he's like, check this out, this is what I got. And even just at that, you could tell a difference. And that was what got me hooked, was his. And he gave me a set of, it was an old set of Dahlquist, I think was the name. Wasn't Dalton. I think it was like Dahlquist Audio or something.
Name doesn't ring a bell. Right?
Tower speakers, yellow cones and stuff. They weren't like high end or anything, but it was the set that I had before those Polks that I bought. And so that was kind of like my progression. And like before that, I just had bookshelf speakers. That was my first set of towers that he gave me and got me hooked on them. But his Bowers and Wilkins, I was like, man, what? I couldn't afford anything like that at that time. But Chris, pull that back up if you don't mind. Man, that's beautiful. Look at that.
Those are your rears there. Those are the two bookshelf sets. And then let's see if we can see this. That's the receiver, which is a little bit older receiver, I guess. But then we got the big fronts. Where are the front ones? There they are. Those right there, those towers.
Where's this at?
Those will sound crispy too. Might even be crunchy.
This is probably $7,000 or $8,000 worth of equipment when it was new.
Yeah, I mean those speakers. I know when those were new, they were over $1,000 a piece just for the speakers. Yeah. So.
All right, so you're getting the receiver, 200 watts a channel, the towers, a set of rears and a center, and a 1200 watt subwoofer.
750 watt. Didn't it say 750?
I thought it was.
Scroll back up just a little bit.
1200 max.
No, it's a SPL 1200.
Oh, it's a 1200 model.
750 watts then.
You get the manual, the remote, the speaker cables.
I bet you he had good speaker cables too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you spend that kind of money on a system, I guarantee he's got at least $300 or $400 in cables.
Dude, that was something that we never talked about. I didn't really look at the box.
That's in Cleveland right there. That's right around the corner.
Cleveland, Tennessee. That's 20 minutes from here. Wish I had 2,500. Not that we need it. We've got two full systems here already.
We could.
But yeah, Chris, expand your $500 budget. This is what you need to buy right here.
That's a one-stop shop too. You don't even have to look for anything else. It's everything you need.
That's all you need right there, man.
Now I think the last item I had on the list, there was another Denon receiver on there as well that I had pulled up. Is that still there too?
Check that out. Yeah, no, man, that Bowers the system. That's thanks for sending that to me, by the way. I'll be looking at that later tonight.
So this one got sold.
Oh, sold.
Somebody snatched this one up.
Somebody snagged it.
So I still want to talk about this one because this.
Oh, it's a 4300 9.2.
Yeah. So this was a absolute killer deal on a receiver. So personally, I have the Denon AVR 3700. So that one there is essentially the next level up from mine.
Well, the last one I installed was the 4800.
Which the 4800 is a newer version, right? Yep. So they're keeping them the same, but so the 4300 is just a couple years old now. But this receiver, when it was new, I want to say they were $28.99 or $24.99.
Yeah. So
from $24.99 down to $450. I mean, this receiver is more than anything that anybody would ever need. It's got the DTS, the Dolby Atmos. It's got the Aura 3D. It's got the Odyssey room correction in it.
Yeah, it's got processing for up to 11 channels.
I mean,
it's 9 channels powered. I mean, it's basically Denon's version of the Marantz.
It is.
That we got.
Well, I mean, Denon and Marantz are owned by the same company.
So it's pretty much the same setup.
Essentially, you get the Marantz stuff, and the Marantz comes out, and then the following year, Denon does the exact same thing on a cheaper platform.
Yeah. That's pretty much the Denon version of the Marantz that we that we talked about that we had here on the first episode.
If I had the $450 today, I would have upgraded mine to that
Yeah.
to that one in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and then if you ever want to go 11.2, the channels are already there. You just need 2 more amplified channels.
Well, that's the thing is once you get that amplified to amplify your bed level.
Yep.
You take your 5 off, right, and now you got the rest of them to power all your surrounds and your heights and everything else, but you still got your 5 amplified channels to run your main powers.
Exactly. Yeah, an 11.2 system. You're gonna have a heck of a system. So was that the last one, Chris?
That was the last one I think that we had on the list. So that kind of sums it up. Just to kind of look to just spend a little time to kind of flip through it. You'll find some really really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it took you 30 minutes to find all of those. It's if you know what to search for on Marketplace. So get on Marketplace. I don't know if is anybody using Craigslist anymore or not.
No, I think Craigslist is dead.
Yeah, it's Craigslist. Then get on Marketplace. If you got $1,000 to spend, man, you can find some killer deals for a whole system.
And
so
if you ever have a question on the system that you found, shoot us a message. Ask us what we think about it.
Yeah, we'll respond to it real quick and say yay or nay.
We'll give our honest opinion on it. So
yeah, because and it could be different across the country. We don't know exactly. We're in the South down here. There's not a lot of like audiophiles. We're not in a big city. We're halfway between Atlanta and Nashville. So like in Nashville, we find a lot more stuff. There's a lot of recording studios and stuff up there.
Yeah.
I'm sure like if you're like out on the West Coast or like in New York or stuff where people have more money than they do here, you can probably find even higher end stuff for about half of what it was new.
Absolutely.
So your areas are going to differ. But if you have any questions on that stuff, shoot either one of us a message. We'll get back to you as quick as we can and let you know if it's a good deal or not. And if it is, we're set up now where you can call into the show. And if you buy some stuff, we'll set it up where you can call in. We can talk about it and let us know what you got.
Yeah, we'd love to talk to you about it.
So if anybody wants to talk about anything they've bought recently, got a good deal on, shoot me a message. We'll bring you on the show. And we'll talk about it. So, yeah, we just wanted to actually give actual examples of the stuff that we've been talking about of building a really good system on a budget, just to show you that it's really easy to do. And there's not a lot of competition out there for people that are looking for this stuff, so you can find it. So, all right, well, that's another episode down. Chris, thank you for joining us on this episode and running the board for us. So now we've got everything in the studio set up here to where we can live stream. So we're going to be able to, we're live streaming part of this right now. We can live switch between the cameras instead of having to do everything post-production. And like I said, we can take phone calls now. We can bring stuff up on the screen. It's we're full blown now. And so we're going to keep doing those things. And questions, any comments, anything like that, leave them in the comments of the video. Go subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Neil, you got anything else you want to throw down before we head out of here?
No, I think that's got it all summed up, guys. I mean, definitely looking to hear from you guys.
Cool. I think that's everything from me for today. Chris, you got anything to add before we head out?
No.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate it. And I'm Justin.
I'm Neil.
We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for joining.